Hello and welcome back to our Vlandian Night Adventures, and well, I decided to start the episode here for a variety of different reasons. One, we have just taken 2 of the enemy's castles. 2, I'm actually very close by to Balgard, and as you can see, they have a very small contingent of defenders here. And 3, because, you know, I like counting, and I thought I'd just go up to 3, so yeah. That's pretty much it. Anyway, let's actually go and take it, and let's give the owners a little bit to cheer about, and we'll see what we can do. Now, a couple of people actually told me that the... oh, we're declaring war against the Northern Empire, apparently. Okay, sure. I'm happy with that. I could say no. But personally, I don't mind. I don't mind doing that. I think that we are strong enough to be able to handle 2 wars on 2 different fronts, because I actually made peace with a number of other factions, so we have the attention to be able to split it between 2 different ones, and hopefully we're going to do okay. Anyway, a number of you in the comments actually said to me, yeah, towns are a little bit, are kind of balanced for the player, but for the AI, they have no limit whatsoever to how much money they can provide to AI vassals, and I think that's a little bit too much. I gotta say, I think that's a bit too much. I actually thought that that was not happening in Bannerlord. I actually thought that we were having a much more realistic experience, and well, maybe that will change. Who knows? Maybe that will change. Maybe something will, maybe a mod will come out or something. I'm actually not sure about that. But yeah, I actually thought that the whole idea of AI vassals going to villages, actually, recruiting people from those villages in real time with their own money that they would gain from taxes and rents and so on and so forth, and obviously from selling loot as well, I thought that would make sense, obviously, but that's the point. I think that if a person, or shall we say a player, wants to go to a town and completely bankrupt it, and then an AI goes along to potentially sell their loot to it, I think maybe they're not complex enough to do that. It might very well be the case that what would indeed end up happening in that case is an AI goes into the marketplace, tries to sell their loot, and then it crashes the game or something like that. It might very well happen that is going to happen, because they just can't continue. Do you know what I mean? They just can't continue from where they are. I'm actually not going to say peace with the Crusade right now. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we're going to continue our siege at Balgard here. I'd like to be able to take at least a little bit of territory from them before I agree on any kind of peace. And hopefully we're going to be able to get in there relatively soon. We have a number of vassals in here anyway, so hopefully they'll be able to protect me. Well, this is actually not the town or castle that you're looking for, but, well, it will have to do. It will have to do because, well, I was attempting to take Balgard, if you recall. And, well, let's just say that an army of 1,400 enemy units decided to descend upon us, and they had almost 200 heavy lancers. So you can safely say that I got myself out of there very, very fast indeed, and we are now trying to take something else. Most notably from the Northern Empire, because of course they did declare war. Oh, well, technically we declared war against them, but who's counting at this point? Who's counting? So let me just see if I can do some damage here. Maybe we can try and take them out. Gotta say, I feel like the combat is very enjoyable. I've been playing another game actually recently by the name of Blood of Steel, actually, and the combat in that is actually really fun as well. It reminds me very heavily of Bannerlord, although I think that Blood of Steel has a bit more accessibility to it. I feel like the combat in Bannerlord is a little bit weird sometimes. Because let's just see the hits. Do you see the hits on these guys with melee? It seems a bit bouncy. You know what I mean? It seems a bit bouncy. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It's probably because I'm hitting their armor or something, and it's deflecting it a little bit or something. But you know, if you want to make a realism excuse like that, then that's absolutely fine, you know. I think that's probably the case anyway. Ah, that's much better. Overheads are much more fun, aren't they? Yeah, overheads are much more fun than just regular horizontal slashes. But, yeah, anyway. Hopefully we'll achieve victory here relatively quickly, and then I'll be able to move on, because I have received a notification recently that a lot of vassals of ours have been eliminated, and that is not good. That is not good, especially from the Northern Empire. The Northern Empire, however, have asked me for a peace agreement, and I'm not entirely sure why they decided to do that. Seems like there is only one enemy remaining. What is it? It's an Imperial Sergeant Crossbowman. Alright. Where is it, though? Oh, dear. I think we might be having some issues. Yes. Friends? Family? Pets? Can we consider moving upwards here? Oh, dear. Right, okay, we finally took the guy down. I actually didn't do anything myself, obviously, because I was stuck in between all of our units. I wouldn't expect this kind of thing to happen in Bannerlord, actually. I feel like that's kind of weird. And personally, if it's me, I would like to see a change where if there's an overwhelming amount of units on the offensive side, so I'm talking about 300, 200, even 100 against about 10 or 5 enemy units, I'd like to see a change where those 5 enemy units basically just surrender straight away, because that's, I mean, isn't that what would happen realistically? Unless they're super, super aggressive or something. I don't know. It just seems much more realistic to me to have that happen rather than for this situation to happen. I mean, we literally were surrounding the guy, but apparently because we were all walking into each other and vibrating rather uncomfortably, it kind of turned things into a bit of a jam-packed traffic sort of situation. So we were kind of all going into each other, not really knowing where we're going and what we're doing and so on. So yeah, that was kind of harsh. But I'd like to see something a bit different in regards to that. So hopefully that will work out, because having those kinds of situations where there's just a little straggler, you know, just a little straggler somewhere here, there, or everywhere, maybe someone that's gotten stuck in the environment or something like that, it would be cool to have an option, at least from the player's perspective, to just be able to end the siege, because otherwise I'm going to be standing there for 10 minutes and it's a huge waste of time. So, yeah, anyway, let's move into the castle, wait here for some time, and try to restore ourselves, because as you can no doubt see, Incurion is running around with a pretty large army, but I'm not entirely sure if we'll be able to beat him. What do you think? Do you think we'll be able to beat him? Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but what I do know is that we will be speccing into a whole bunch of different traits now, because I have leveled up quite a bit, and as you can see, we have engineering 200, which will give us increased damage to walls during sieges. Personally, I'm not entirely sure what this tree is even for at this point, because what I'd like to see as well, and this is obviously just very, very loose suggestions right here, not really anything that I'm super strict about or anything like that. I mean, generally I'm not super strict about pretty much anything, but I'd like to see different options. So not just a straight line that goes all the way through the skill tree. I think it would be pretty cool to have a different option for all of these, so that it feels different to level up your engineering to another person's character. So for example, if you wanted to focus on siege defenses rather than offenses, or if you wanted to focus on a specific siege equipment, so for example, focusing on trebuchets, focusing on ballistas, and so on, then you could spec into those to make them better in some way or another. I feel like the smithing tree is really nice as a result of that, because it basically gives you the opportunity to be a really, really skilled craftsman, or to be someone that deals in resources and converting those resources into other resources and so on and so forth. That really makes a huge difference in my opinion. Otherwise, the steward skill is actually almost going to be leveled up, and the governor is not really something that I am going to be that much, but personal is going to obviously help, even though I would love the plus 10% from taxes. So I won't be able to take the governor one, unfortunately. It's just so much better for companions. Oh, yes. That actually reminds me. Speaking about companions, someone mentioned that it would be a good idea. Well, technically you reminded me, actually. You reminded me that it would be a cool idea to get some parties. I haven't actually increased my party limit. I think someone also said to me that the Bannerlord Tweaks options will include something that increases your party capacity, so you can have more parties. So that is going to be fantastic. I have no idea who to actually make into a party leader, so I'm just going to randomly select. I'm going to go for some... Should I literally make everyone that's called the Loyal into a party leader or something? I can't do that. Okay, I don't have enough of those. Okay, so what about Cavil the Strong? Is he going to get... yeah, I have to give him units? Well, I mean, that's the point. I would like to give him units, but I don't really have that much myself, to be honest. I mean, I've got some veteran bowmen, even. Okay, you know what? I'll just give him... I'll give him 14. Or however much this is. Because, obviously, it's 14 total now. So, 13, I guess. I'll give him 13. Lucky number 13. How about that? And then we'll give Lazif the Strong will be another party of ours. And we'll give him a number of people as well, but obviously not too much, because I'd like to see what kinds of armies they actually come up with themselves. I think that would be kind of fun. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally give these guys right here. Boreals are good. Some militia, trader. I'm just trying to sort of thin out the random amounts of units that I have here, and we'll just see what happens with these guys. Okay, I think that's enough, probably. I don't know whether I'm being mean to them. Am I being mean to them by doing this? I don't think so, because I should be able to provide them with enough cash to be able to do whatever they basically want to, and I think that could be a lot of fun to see exactly who becomes the beast of the group, you know? I think that could be a lot of fun. So I'm actually just going to give all of these Imperial trained infantrymen. I mean, they're going to level up pretty quickly as it is. Yarli the Butcher. All right. And let us take another couple of units. I mean, technically, if I was at my... if I was at one of my garrisons, I would definitely give them more units from that, because obviously, I don't know whether you noticed, but on the clan screen, I only have about 300 units in one of the... actually, is it this one? No. Is it this one? Oh, I actually can't remember which menu you could see my garrison. Oh, this one. There we go. Yeah. So as you can see, Neviansk Castle has the most, which is obviously wrong. I need to do some transferring of units here, but I just haven't gotten around to it because we're doing so much in terms of attacking enemies and so on. Okay, so Avocado the Strong will be the new leader of this party, and then we will be done, and hopefully they will go around murdering everything in sight. That sounds like a good plan to me. Let's give them a whole bunch of higher tier units, and there we go. Alright, that should be enough to potentially fight off any bandits that might want to attack them, but hopefully they're going to be fast enough to prevent themselves from getting murdered as a result of that anyway. So, let's see what happens. There we go. Okay, so they've all been spawned onto the map, and hopefully they will have a fun time. Do not get murdered, guys. Do not get murdered, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get them back, by the way. I think that if they are defeated... that is it. I will not be able to go into the tavern and retrieve them, because obviously I am at maximum. I am at maximum amounts of companions, so it will not be possible. That's also a little bit of a reason why I was a bit hesitant to do the whole party thing, because even though I think it's a cool idea, and I definitely think it's a thing that you definitely want to do, you know, for fun reasons, it is going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit uncomfortable because of the inability to regain those companions back. But obviously, as we have the Distinguished Service mod, we should be able to get them back without too many difficulties, as it is. And this is an absolutely perfect battlefield, and I should just actually reiterate on the Distinguished Service mod that I was talking about earlier. Basically, I'm not talking about getting the same companions back, I was just talking about upgrading new ones, and so technically we're replacing them with other new people, so that's pretty much it. Anyway, let's get my people into a decent position. This is a fantastic location, it really is. Hopefully the enemy will be moving towards us. It seems like they are, which is pretty fantastic to me. I'm actually kind of surprised that they would decide to do that. And these horse archers are never going to stand a chance, are they? Never, never in a million years.
Infantry, move! Infantry, move! Soldiers! Infantry! Forward! Infantry, forward! Infantry, forward! Move!
Well, I've had to move my units now because the enemy is being a little bit stubborn about where they're positioning themselves, and well, they are still giving us a little bit of an incline over here, if you notice that. So let's see if we can get a nice flank going on as well. So let's get our cavalry and our horse archers to come over here. We have a pretty significant contingent of them, so hopefully we'll be able to make the most of them and deal some damage. Alright, let's go to the side, and obviously we do technically out-skill the opponent because we actually have some extremely high-tier units in comparison to them. So even though we have an equal combat strength, it should not result in them being able to kill that many of our units. Nice kill. Ooh, that was good.
Move! Infantry, move! Soldiers, move!
The classic situation. Isn't that utter classic? It absolutely is. You know, if I can live through... No, never mind. I was going to be like, yes, maybe I can live through this. That would be fantastic. But yeah, anytime they're able to kill your horse and you're so incredibly basically in enemy lines, you're not even behind enemy lines, you're just right in there, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. But That's not a big deal, because we are going to achieve victory whether we auto-delegate or not. Otherwise, I would have tried a lot harder to stay alive if I thought we were going to have some difficulties here. Obviously, we are maybe going to end up losing a couple more units than we otherwise would have, but in my opinion, I don't really mind about that too much. Okay. What is... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is there something hilarious happening right now? Yes, there is. If this is not a prime example of the AI being probably the worst when it comes to auto-delegating, I don't know what is. And that's the thing. It's actually really funny because in the past I've actually been quite, should we say, quite positive about the auto-delegation feature. And it has in the past served us very well. However, it has only served us well when we have had a majority of horse archers. That's the reason why I generally tend to say that horse archers are super, super good. But, well, that's a discussion for another time. But here's the thing. They're not attacking each other. And that doesn't seem to be changing at any time. That is broken. I think that is broken and needs to be fixed immediately. Look at this. Okay, I started at 11:14, right? Just look at the time, right? It's been another 45 seconds. It's been another minute. It's going on for another 2 minutes right now. 2 minutes has just passed. It's gone on for another minute. Almost. There you go. Another 3 minutes. Oh, look at that. They've just been standing there for 3 minutes. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. And I know, there's going to be the obligatory person that says to me, well, you should just not have died then. Well, that's the point. It's a sandbox. You should be able to do whatever you want, whether you want to die or whether you don't want to die. You know, that shouldn't make any difference. I'm going to have to retreat now because of this absolute farce. I don't know what is even going on with that, to be honest. Anyway, we're just going to do an auto-resolve and eliminate the rest of them, gain a massive amount of renown and influence. Got to say, I'm actually pretty disappointed by that. I actually thought that our units were going to be able to auto-delegate to victory, but no such luck. And someone actually said to me, why are you releasing all your prisoners? It doesn't seem to be doing anything. And all I have to say to that is, you just need to think long term. That's it. Just think long term. That's all that will matter in the end, because we are not even in the end game. You know, people don't seem to realize that Mount and Blade in general is a really, really long game. And if you're not playing the long game, you are not playing it right. But that's the point. As I've said before, I am very much a supporter of player choice and sandbox decisions. And if the player wants to let all the prisoners go, then they can definitely do that. If they don't want to let the prisoners go, then you don't have to do that either. I mean, in my first ever Bannerlord series that I created with Mr. Barney himself, I ended up executing every single vassal that I could get my hands on. That is a dramatically different playstyle than what I have decided to adopt in later series, because in the initial version of Bannerlord, the diplomacy was very limited. You couldn't really do that much with the diplomacy. There were a huge amount of defections and betrayals, and it really wasn't very conducive to being nice, quote unquote. But nowadays, being nice actually has a lot of benefits. And we've already seen a number of those, which is actually kind of hilarious because I actually speak about those kinds of things in quite a few episodes now. And I guess those people are just not listening to what I'm saying. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe my talking about the game design and stuff like that is just not interesting to them. But who knows? Anyway, I'm actually going to end this episode off here because we have just kind of consolidated ourselves a little bit more. We made peace with the Khuzait, by the way, because, as I said, they had an extremely large army, and I wanted to try and prevent our vassals from getting eliminated by it, including myself, of course, and otherwise we're going to try and focus on the Northern Empire a little bit. And we also declared war against the Aserai too. So we have a number of things to focus on in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.